Hey, guys, happy Tuesday. This is Anything But Average, Achieving Success in Life. I'm Trisha Turner, and I've got Ozzie Ramirez with me today. Super excited to hear a little bit about his story. Hi, Ozzie.
Hello, how are you doing?
Wonderful. How are you doing?
I can't complain about nothing. It's pretty damn good.
It is. So, if you guys don't know a little bit about the show, this is something that we started about 2 years ago, but really hit it hard last year during COVID. The purpose is, of course, to bring positivity to the world, no matter if you're in real estate or what you're in, because everybody's got a success story, and we're going to share those. And so, Ozzie has been super successful in real estate. He has a great following. A lot of people know him, love him, trust him. So, I want to talk to him about how he's built up his real estate career to be what it is today. And then recently he made a change in his business operations. And so we're going to talk about that too. So if you could, Ozzie, kind of let's edify you a little bit. Let's tell everybody where you are in the world, how long you've been in real estate, and kind of a little bit of your background.
First off, I'm going to close all these windows I have open. Okay,
Mhm.
all the windows are closed so I can focus. I got in 2005, so I'm just over 16 years in the business. Started off kind of figuring it out as a solo agent, joining some brokerages, and um, I went the long way around. I didn't really go with the training company. I went with the company where on your own and flat fees and all that stuff to start with, and failed a lot in the beginning and learned the hard way. And just ended up, last year we did 251 transactions for over 52 million. This year, trajectory puts us at about 365 transactions for over 80 million. We do a lot of investing. We buy as many properties as we can. I'll be closing on a property tomorrow. Um, and that's it. I own apartment complexes and stuff like that as well. And I think my number one thing is just building a solid team that's built around a solid culture. I don't care if you can make me $1 million. That doesn't matter. What matters is, are we in alignment? Can we get along? And do we understand that this isn't strictly about money? This is about living our best lives. This is about contributing to as many people as we possibly can. And if we can get all that together, we can, as long as the work ethic's there, we can build amazing things. So that's kind of where we're at.
Okay. So walk me through, you were at brokerages before where it was just flat fees and all that, and I can
hmm
totally relate, of course, having had one. Walk me through how you transitioned from single agent to team when
hmm
that started and why.
So before we get into that, like segue, I have to, I just got called on it, and I want to make it. I want to just put it out there for everybody. Um, I have a tick, and you'll see me do this a lot.
I have
Uh,
seen you do that a lot.
okay, I do it a lot, and I've always prayed that people didn't call me on it and didn't say anything about it. And last week we were in Milwaukee, and before I went on stage to speak to a lot of real estate agents about being successful, a guy messaged me and he's like, "What's wrong with you? I've been watching your videos, and it's like you have fleas in your office. Why do you jump around so much?" He was super ugly to me, and he's like,
Wow.
"I don't know, but I just like to get it out there. Like, I am drug free. I don't have any problems. I just have a tick, and I wish I could change it, but I can't. So you get what you get, and that's just the way it's going to be. So I
You
just like
know
to,
I've known you for years, and I noticed that too. And I just always assumed maybe you were nervous. People twitch. I'm fidgety, so I just,
yeah,
we all got something. That was crappy of that guy.
yeah, it was. I just, and I just, all I could say is, well, he's watching me, and I don't know who he is. So
There you
So
go.
I'm going to leave it at that and call that successful enough for me. But you will see it, and I just like to get that out of the way. It's just a part of who I am, and I like when I get on stage, I hold the mic here and I put my hand in my pocket, and I do my best not to do it. Yet, and when we're in situations like this, it comes out a little more. So,
Don't you
all
worry
right.
about that. It's
So
cool.
now let's get back to the thing. I joined a buddy when I first got on. He's actually the one that got me into real estate. I was managing Papacitos. He convinced me that real estate was something I should jump into. I'd managed Papacitos from 18 to 21 years old. Loved the Mexican restaurant, loved the restaurant industry. It was fantastic. The Pappas Corporation taught me a lot about running a business. Um, so I got into real estate. First couple years were hard. I actually lost a house to foreclosure. and I had a car repossessed, and me and my wife were considering me not being in real estate anymore and going back to the restaurant industry. And it's funny, it's an agent that I first got in. We actually were both part of the same brokerage, and then we split off and we went under a flat fee company that just charges a flat fee. And her name is Ruby Miranda, and his name is Cliff Saunders, and they're both real estate agents. They're actually with Keller Williams now, and we were all working together. We're all looking to grow a company together. And I had just lost a house, and I was freaking out. I don't think I told anybody. It was a huge secret. Like, I didn't want anybody to know. I was scared. And I hear Ruby tell Cliff in the next room, she says, every success is one day past a failure, because they were struggling too. Like, real estate getting in is hard.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't tell her till like a decade later. We were both on stage at an event talking about success in real estate. And on stage, I said, Ruby, I got a story to tell you. And I told her, I said, you think you were talking to Cliff, but you were talking to me. And just her telling him that every success is one day past a failure, like, helped me to understand, like, just keep pushing, like, just keep on doing what you do. You're a fighter, keep rolling. So here I am 16 years later, still in the industry. And I went from that brokerage. I actually created my own brokerage after that. I got my brokerage license, I think around 2009, 2011, somewhere in there. I can't remember. I ran my own brokerage for a while. I actually liked it. I like being independent. I like creating my own business models. And then I met someone from Keller Williams. They recruited me on to Keller Williams. I loved Keller Williams. I learned a lot from Keller Williams. I realized that it's not about creating your own wheel. It's about finding the wheel that fits you best, or sometimes about finding a wheel that somebody else created and said, can I put those on my car? And so I started learning about teams and structures and all these things. And about the age of 32, I joined Keller Williams at 34. I actually started reading books. So I started reading all the books I could about building a team, building a business. To this day, I've read The Millionaire Real Estate Agent about 39 times.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I just finished my 39th.
Wow.
And I always go back to it because there's a lot of structure in that book that helps me. I'm not a structured person. I'm very much, tell me what to do and I'll run through a brick wall to do it. When I realize what I need to do, I'll do it with a vengeance. Like, nothing can stop me from accomplishing what I want to accomplish. Yet I'm not the person to be organized and put things into play. So I've gotten to business with some really talented women. I'm surrounded by women. All my leaders are women for some reason or another. And they keep me in line. They call me on my crap and make sure I do what I'm supposed to do. So I learned that.
Are you a high I? And
I'm
D?
I'm a 99 I, 99 D.
That's what I am too. So when you were saying a structured person, I'm thinking, oh gosh, you got my language. Yes.
Yeah. I don't even, my S and my C.
Rocket Fuel?
I have read the book, and I have.
Does that describe you to a T?
It does. My first integrator her name is Vanessa Bateman. I'm working on building my second integrator, Lori Miranda, on the team. And so it's just growing. So we have multiple businesses, but I need help in multiple ways. So we have different integrators for different things.
It's life-changing, though, when you understand yourself and why you are like you are and where your weaknesses are. Then you're like, oh, I got to go find this person then.
It is. I tell people this, the space between you and your dreams, it's not a what, it's not a how, it's not even the why, it's a who. There's a human being out there. You can change their life and they can change your life. You just got to go and find them.
1000%. So I want to backtrack a little bit, because when you said you had your own brokerage, let's talk about that a little bit. How many agents did you have, and were you loving it? Were you frustrated? What were you feeling during that time?
So I feel like we put up big numbers, but I was running off a 90-10 model and I wasn't recruiting. So I had a small amount of agents that were doing decent production. I think we did like 52 million or something like that as a tiny brokerage with like 7 agents or 8 agents. Yet on a 90-10 split, the production looked great. Profitability looked crappy. I was basically selling just to pay bills and stuff like that and feed my own family. And the agents were living high off the hog. And I didn't realize that I was out of balance when it came to finances. And it took me a while to realize that. Yet, I was selling so much. I mean, money solves everything, as a solo agent with just an admin, I was moving like 68 properties a year. Mm-hmm. And when you in
production when you had your own brokerage as well?
Yes.
Okay.
So I was in production. Then I joined KW, and one of the things that switching over from you start to learn models.
Yep.
And when you start to learn models, you realize like you think you're being generous running a 90-10 split or these other companies. And if your model's not right and it's not, so a 90-10 split model has to be run to the point where you have to have huge volume for you to make any money. Right. And even then, that's still a difficult wagon to pull. That's really tough. Right. So
People
just
don't
learning those
realize
things.
how expensive it is to run a team and to run a brokerage.
Geez. That's to be honest with you. So when we were leaving KW, it was either we're going to go back to owning our own brokerage, or we're going to join another model. I met Veronica Figueroa. She showed us EXP for like the 10th time because I had seen it a million times before. Everybody and their mom's calling me about EXP, and and then I really looked at it and I just presented it to the amazing women on the team, and we picked it apart. We made sure we bulletproofed every decision we were making. We joined EXP because we didn't want to own our own brokerage, and we wanted to be able to scale a whole lot faster by being able to set up partnerships in every state without having to open new brokerages and all these other things. Like we wanted to create something that could be scalable and exponential as quickly as possible. And that was one of the key factors in making a move. Other than we were already in a circle of EXP agents and we were all growing together, like Veronica and Carlos German and all these guys from Orlando. That network was so strong that it connected me with a lot of people that were going through the same struggles that I was in business. And once that started happening, not only did I identify more holes in my business, but I found more solutions at a much quicker pace. And it all started to line up. So I didn't really join EXP for EXP. I joined for the culture of this group of people, and EXP was the cherry on top.
Yep. So I find all of that so fascinating because when I had my own brokerage, you and I had talked even before I switched over to EXP, owning your own brokerage, you don't really realize all the challenges that are going to be involved in it until you're knee deep in it. And then you're like, oh my gosh, it's not at all what I envisioned. And then of course, when it grows, it's like crazy. It's like, well, now I got to add all this staff. And again, it was a model that wasn't profitable. So it's like, I am working my tail to the ground, to support everybody. And this is not what I envisioned at all. And so I was frustrated. And when I met Jay and Mike, and they opened up, and when I met Jay and Mike, they weren't with EXP yet. They already had their own brokerage as well. And so it was just joining in with them and getting, again, with that culture and hanging out with them and meeting people. And then when they switched over, I'm like, there's something to this. And then a few months into that, they reached out to me and they're like, Trisha, you have a blockbuster and you just need to look at this. You got to come look at the numbers and do the math. And then we need to switch you over. And that I just trusted them. I trusted them and I believed. And that was in October of 2018. My life has never been the same. I have some of the greatest friends, like Veronica. I love her.
Yeah.
Carlos, all of them. I love them. I wish they were here. I wish they were here in Houston with us. And so I've been like seeking like-minded people like that throughout Houston, and they're hard to find, because it's a different culture. And once you're in the culture, you're like, oh my gosh, it's like being in heaven. And so when I saw you switch over, I was like, oh my gosh, finally somebody that I can align with and we can do this together,
Yeah, absolutely. And one of my things for Houston is I want to build, I want us to build a cohesiveness. Like, I don't care whose downline you're in. I don't care what your revenue share is. I don't care about your recruiting game. All I care is that we can create a synergy, like in a cell, to where we're all united as EXP agents here in Houston. And it's like, I have a great network. I have a really strong network with a really good group of people in Orlando.
Yep.
I don't see why we couldn't have just as strong a network. We're not in competition. I don't care what brokerage you're with. I don't care what company. None of you is my competition. Yep. And when we kind of lower that wall and understand that we are collaboration over competition will change your life. Yep. But I know that there's a lot of agents who are like, well, you're in my market, so we're competing. No, we're not.
We're not.
I couldn't tell you how many top agents that how many times I've been up against top agents for the same listings, like a handful of time, taking 200 listings a year, maybe 2 a year. I'm in competition with another agent where I'm like, they're a big agent too. It's just, we're not really in competition.
Well, Ozzie, I kind of feel like once I got in, because of course, leaving my own company and going there, it was like a learning process. And EXP at that time, there was only 14,000 agents. So there was a lot of things that we were learning and moving my brain. It just was a lot of learning. So the first 6 months was like, all right, what are we doing? We got to figure all this out. But then after about 6 months in, we were doing events, we were doing all kinds of stuff. And it was like, this is the coolest group of people ever. And then more people just kept joining and more people kept joining. And like I tell everybody, I actually believe in my heart that this is the greatest real estate company. And I believe that it's going to be all over. EXP is going to take over. And so it's like, I just want to help everybody because I believe when we're all together with the same company, it's better for the consumer. It's better for all of our lives.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, the other thing that helped me fall in love with this is understanding the collaboration, right? Like I love market centers, and I love the way the last company I was with and how they did things. I think they're amazing. I think they have a business model that's fantastic. Yet in the same token, I feel like market centers can get in the way of a collaboration opportunity, right? So if I recruit you and you choose to go into business with me, I have a financial vested interest to make sure you are successful. And when you connect a bunch of like high-minded people and they start working like that, like it just gets crazy. Like the synergy is ridiculous. Like, in most companies, like I've seen companies where it's 100% opposite, where every agent in a brokerage is like, oh no, this is mine. Get
Oh,
away.
yeah.
Get away. Like, no, this is my secret. And people
Yep.
talking about secret sauces and all that. You don't have a damn secret sauce. Whoever talks like that, if they're like, well, this is my secret sauce or this is my secret to success, you don't have a secret. Somebody's done it before you. Somebody's done it better than you. You need to give it away just like somebody else.
Yep.
And I think when this company brings that out and people at a whole new level, like people were collaborating and building businesses, like I feel like we're growing like rocket fuel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's crazy.
when you like study numbers and you study history and you study people and how they come together, they say 5% of the world are leaders and 95% are followers. And as I got more involved in EXP and we were doing events and we'd go to these masterminds, which you're going to be involved in now, which is so cool. I love them. It's like, holy crap, this is the 5%ers of the world. They're all in one room, so the energy's insane. And you can't find that anywhere, ever, ever.
Yeah. Well, I think there's with other events that I've been to, there's almost this separation from the gurus to the audience. And I learned this in Clubhouse. So I actually met Veronica Figueroa on Clubhouse, the app.
That's crazy.
So I met her on Clubhouse. We started talking. She was speaking. I was speaking. We're both speaking languages that aligned. And I reached out to her and I said, you and me are similar. I want to talk to you about your business. And we just started chatting and talking. And what I begin like to really realize about those conversations and that type of thing is when you take the guru off the stage and put him in the audience, the game changes.
Yep.
And I feel like just like Clubhouse took the guru off the stage and put him in the audience, or put the audience on stage with the guru, that's why Clubhouse to me has become something phenomenal. I'm not on as much as I was when I met Veronica, but I'm still on there. And I feel like EXP has done almost the same thing with that, where the collaboration is like, there's not like this hierarchy where people are, the people that are schmoozing the top are like, oh, they get all the speaking time and all this stuff.
Right.
I feel like that's gone away, and this is a company for underdogs. Like I'm an underdog, and I've always been an underdog, and I'm okay with that.
Me too.
I'm gritty as hell, and that's just the way it's going to be. Like I'm not this super polished human being.
But you know what you are? You're someone with a heart and you're a hard worker, period. You have integrity.
That's it. I mean, I don't believe I'm here to sell real estate. I believe real estate's just been the vessel to help me become successful. I believe my impact is bigger than real estate, and that's really what I'm working towards. And I feel like this company is going to help me to accomplish that, or it's helping me already.
Oh, for sure. How many members are on your team?
Right now we're at 15 sales. And so we have 15 salespeople on the real estate team. We have a property management company as well. We have an investment side as well. And we have a media company. So the guy who does our photography and all that stuff too. And we have, I'd say roughly on the administrative side between everything is about 5 people. So we're about 20,
Did everyone
21.
move to EXP with you?
There was one person that didn't make the move with us. And it just, not everybody, if you weren't
Right.
bought in, you weren't bought in.
Yeah.
Right. This just plain and simple. Like it's not my job. Like when a lot of people are like, oh, that somebody took your agent. I'm like, no, no, no.
No.
Nobody belongs to anybody.
No.
Like to say that, oh, you took an agent from this brokerage or that brokerage, or somebody took an agent from me. None of us belong to anybody. We're all free spirits that figure our own world out. And a grown person's going to make grown person decisions. And I will never get upset about that. Like when someone leaves, and it happens to all kinds of business and teams and brokerage, I don't get upset. Like there's no rivalry. There's no problem here.
No.
When someone leaves, for me, it's like, I love you and I'm never going to fault you for making decisions for your family. In fact, I celebrate you and I lift you up. Can I pray for you while you're leaving the company?
I love that.
And it's a different way to do business, and
It is.
you don't have to treat people like criminals when we're walking out the door and bring this cardboard box and have a cop watch them like most companies do. I don't believe that. I believe we can leave with dignity. I believe we can leave better than we came in sometimes, just through having real conversations with people.
Absolutely. And I believe as the real estate industry continues to be disrupted, people like us that have a heart like that, like I always tell people here, I feel like I attract stray dogs, like in our organization here, when I first made the switch, everyone was like, well, are you going to close your office down? I'm like, no, it's just going to become an EXP office. Why would I close the office down? I believe in synergy. I believe people need to be together. They don't need to be at home alone. That's not healthy. And so I'm in here every day. We have sales meetings on Monday. It's very structured. And so because of that, I have agents that come to me that are already with EXP, but they're alone and they don't have anybody with them. They are, their sponsor maybe, isn't having anything to do with them and they don't have anywhere to go and anyone to help them. And so they come here and we work together. And it's like, you know what? I don't really care who your sponsor is. I'll help you because that's what I said I would do. And I think
Absolutely.
It's doing that's going to make such a difference in people's lives in real estate because this is a hard industry.
Oh yeah, it's tough. Yeah, collaboration and synergy, and that's everything. I mean, I feel like human beings, like we long to be around other human beings.
We do.
Yeah, so we have our own office too. So I own the building that we're in, and we just flipped it over.
Exactly. And so your building, tell everybody where your building is.
We're like smack dab in the center of Pearland, Texas. We're right in the middle of the two main streets that kind of Pearland was founded off is Highway 35 and 518.
Yep.
We are right off of not on the corner. That's expensive real estate. I got a little building just one block off.
But aren't you having kind of a party tomorrow?
What's tomorrow?
Oh, what is tomorrow?
Thursday. It's Thursday.
Thursday
So,
you are.
yeah, so Thursday. So we bought it during COVID. We bought it last year.
I thought that was a new thing.
Mm-hmm. So
Okay.
we bought the building last year. We actually moved in February, bought it like in May or June or something like that. And we couldn't have a grand opening, so I couldn't tell anybody. And honestly, the last company we were with wouldn't allow us to put signs because of franchise agreements and all this stuff. We had to go through all kinds of red tape, and I was like, I don't want to do that. So we made our switch, and now we're coming out like, hey, everybody, we have a building here. We still don't have a sign in the building. But my last building I was in, I didn't have a sign. I don't need a sign. I'm in people's living rooms.
Are you going to put a sign up though?
We are. We're going to put a sign up. We're working on that right now.
Okay. Are you putting an EXP sign up?
Yeah, you have to. It's brokerage rules. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and you should, because I believe if you build it, they will come. The people need you. They need your help. They need your guidance. They need your heart.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's why so I started Agents Empowering Agents, where I just make a couple videos a week about me and my journey in business, the things I can teach people, like anything from taking listings to you name it. And I just make videos, and people are like, everybody thinks there's like some kind of ulterior motive. No, I believe one thing above all. I believe that nothing I have belongs to me. Like this all belongs to God. So I got to give it away as quickly as possible. And it's exciting because I feel like I've never had it in me to write a book, but I want to take all the things in my mind and put them somewhere so that somebody else can have them one day. And right now it seems like Facebook and YouTube and Instagram are the places to put those things.
Yes.
And as long as they don't ever go away, it'll be a place where people can go and look and find information that was locked in my brain that I can give away now.
Well, because you have to look at that. Okay, so you were managing restaurants and then you switched over and you started real estate and then you struggled, so you come from struggling. You come from hardship. Nothing was given to you on a silver platter. And look what you've built and will continue to build. I mean, you've only just begun,
I tell people I'm a baby in this industry.
Yep.
I'm a complete baby in this industry, and I don't know crap about crap,
No,
but I'm learning every day.
absolutely. What does the future look for like Ozzie and the AskOzzie team? What are you thinking?
The goal by the end of this year, we'll have 25 full-time agents and full-time production. Um, by the end of next year, we'll hit over 1,000 transactions in a year. Um, the investment portfolio will have over 150 properties owned in the portfolio. We're at like 47 something units or whatever now. We're growing every day. Um, Growing our funding company, so we raise investment funds to go and buy buildings and stuff too. So growing the funds, we're in a fund of $1 million right now to see if we can get to 10 million within the next 2 years, and use those funds to buy even bigger portfolios, bigger apartment complexes and buildings and stuff like that. And for the property management company, I want to make sure we'll be at over 200 doors by the end of next year minimum.
Very good.
And those are the basics of it all, to be honest with you. That's kind of the core of what we do here.
So in your day-to-day business, you're out of production, aren't you?
So I still produce here and there. I still go out and get certain listings here and there. In order for me to feel like I can fully replace myself, I need to hit that 20 full-time producing agents mark. And I'm not afraid to get into production. I love getting out there. My heart is in the living rooms of people. Like, I tell people I find my most fulfillment at the coffee table or the kitchen table when I get to sit down with families and just, sometimes we don't even talk about real estate. We talk about all kinds of crazy crap, and we get to know each other. And that's, I do that here in the office. I do that there. I do that in my personal life. Like, I just love being around people.
Well, I get the mindset too, where it's like I feel like I'm protecting them because there's so many unethical agents out there that are misguided and they don't really know how to run value and they don't know how to sell property. It's like just got to protect these homeowners from them,
Yeah, what are we at? 45, 47,000 agents in
Yes.
Houston, something crazy.
Yes.
So we have a huge MLS here. And I'm a believer I believe that you shouldn't just join a brokerage when you get into real estate. I believe you should have to join a team or have to, like how they do it when you're an electrician, like you have to be an apprentice and a journeyman and then become a master. I think if we went along the lines of that, I think we'd get a lot more respect in what we're doing here. And I think we could be viewed differently. And I think, I just think we could accomplish more. I think we could elevate the product that's being put out there as real estate agents in general. Yet, and then I'm a firm believer in just natural selection when it comes to things like this. Like, some people just aren't going to freaking make it. And maybe that's put everybody in the funnel and watch people fail. And the people that win. And maybe that's the way it's supposed to be. Like, don't put any barriers on the market. I don't know. But I just, we could raise our quality a little bit. I'll be the first one to tell you, like, nobody has the perfect business model.
No.
Nobody's doing everything 100% perfect. I screw up all the time, and I bet you, because we're doing hundreds of deals a year, there's agents out there every day that probably want to complain about me. Right? This didn't happen. He didn't answer his phone, or his listing was missing bedroom counter, or something crazy. I'm like, oh my God. Like, you're focused on the wrong thing, but they come after you, and it is what it is. It's just part of the business. I don't cry about it.
No, and I believe that the mega teams are going to take over because we can do more. We're going to be there for the consumer. We're going to provide all the services that those solo agents can't. Your organization, you're growing there, like you just said, your goals. That's a mega team.
Yeah. Yeah, we do. Keller Williams, we look at the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. That book is just an amazing book. Like, if you get down to the bears of the book, like, Gary Keller says it in the book, like, individual agents believe they're giving ultimate customer service. The truth of the matter is that's not true. Like, an individual agent cannot give the customer service. So if I've got a team and I've got a listing coordinator, a transaction coordinator, and I've got a customer care coordinator, and I've got director, we're always improving our craft and what we're doing. At some point or another, whether the indie agent believes it or not, they just can't compete with the level of customer service we can provide. It's why that's why you have teams that are doing 1,000, 2,000 transactions and growing. It's because we can outdo them. I mean,
You dominate. You just can. That's the goal. And
Yeah.
it's like, when I opened my brokerage, I only opened it so I could do my own thing and have a few of my friends work with me, and we could just do whatever we wanted, and then it grew like crazy. And that was never the goal. With the EXP team, it is, because you see people that need help. And when you realize how much of an impact you're making in the lives of agents, then you have no choice but to continue on. Because it'd be easier in your life and in my life if we were like, you know what? I don't feel like doing this today. I'm weary. I want to take time off. I don't feel like having to lead people and be there for everybody. That would be the easy route, but that's not you and that's not me, because we raised our hand and we said we'd do this.
I just had that conversation with someone today. Like, I could make millions just being a solo agent with a couple admin, leave it alone.
Yes.
But I have this image in my head of me being like Scrooge McDuck, like lonely and sitting on top of money. And I don't want to be that, like, when you're dying, you're not like, I wish my money was in here with me.
No.
When you're dying, you're like, all the people that I poured into, like, they show up, and that's what matters when it's all said and done. I don't want to be lonely. I want to have impact. And I think it's a big deal in this industry. When I know that I failed forward like crazy, right? I failed a lot, and I made some big mistakes that cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars. And if I can help someone like shorten that time, if it took me a decade to reach a decent level of success, if I could help somebody do it in half, 5 years, and then do it in 2 years, like, that's the name of the game. Like, there's somebody out there that I can help their family avoid some of this hardship that I've gone through.
Yes.
And don't get me wrong, I love adversity. I think we all need it. Most of us need a good ass whooping.
Yep.
In the same token, it's like, man, it's kind of painful.
It is.
It's hard to go through. Like, I'm a first generation American, and I saw parents work their ass off and never be able to scrape two nickels together, and it was a painful thing to watch. And it wasn't about the money. It was about the peace that we never had.
Yeah. And you have kids of your own. How old are your kids?
I've got a 10, a 12, a 15, and an 18.
Okay. So have you thought about their future and getting them involved in your business with you?
So yeah, my oldest, I had her work with me for a little bit, and she wants to be an attorney, so she's going off to school to go do all that. My 15-year-old has no desire to be here. I'm still going to bring his butt up here, make him work during some of the summers. Maybe my 10 or my 12-year-old will think differently. I offer them all these different things, like, read this book and I'll pay you $100, and they read one book and that's about it. And I'm trying to get them to understand, like, this is about knowledge that can change your life. Like, I love schooling. Don't get me wrong. I love math and all that stuff. There's books you could read that could absolutely change your life. So we work on that. I pray that one of them wants to step in the business, but it is what it is.
3-year-old. He's my oldest. And, I've always talked to them about getting involved in real estate with me and helping me, but I want them to be their own people. And so his goal was always to have his own baseball facility. He was a baseball player, and that was the goal. Always, that was his lifelong dream. And so God made it happen a year ago during COVID. He, baseball was all shut down, so he no longer could play baseball. So he was like, I need to open a facility. And so God put one in our lives. We found one and we acquired this property, and it's been going for the last year. And in the last 2 months, he on his own, my son, has come to the realization that this is not the life that I want. This is not what I thought it was going to be. And I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. I want to get involved with you, Mom. And I need help. I need help desperately.
Wow.
And so it's so cool because we had an out. We were not locked in. And that was only by the grace of God, because we almost were locked into this property, which would have been really a bad decision of ours. And so we were protected, but he learned that all on his own. And now he's here with me today. He's learning real estate and he's getting his license, and it's going to be awesome. But he had to learn those things on his own. And it was just by the grace of God.
Yeah, you got to let them bump their heads. Mm-hmm. I'm a firm believer. Like, we weren't helicopter parents by any stretch. Like, I let my kids whoop each other, because I figure one's learning how to throw a punch and one's learning how to take one. Both very, very worthy skills. Somebody needs to know. Yeah.
You have to let them be themselves, And so now that he's involved in the business with me, it makes me even more passionate about making sure I help him, because I don't want him to go, years like I did as a solo agent and trying to figure it out and reinvent the wheel. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
So I tell people, I got 18 years and 4 walls to turn them into good people. I don't care what they end up doing. Just be a good damn person. That's all that matters.
Yes. Hey, am I going to see you at the Dallas event?
When is it? That's in July, right?
That one is in August.
Okay. I believe so. I'm going to a Cheplack event like in September. I don't know about August, but
So August is the EXP one. It's the Brent Gove event. So you guys that are paying attention, we have events, especially now they're rolling out like crazy because we're back in person. So there's one, it's a Tony Robbins one in August.
oh yeah. I've seen that one. I'm not sure if I'm going to that one.
That's a big one.
I'll take a good look at it.
Yep, that's a big one. You should be there. And then of course the annual conference is in Vegas. You got to be there.
I believe I'll be at that.
You got to be there.
I want to get the whole feeling as I'm just brand new into all this. But I've spent a lot of my time in smaller masterminds,
Yeah.
which, I kind of like that. I like being in a room
Yeah.
of people that are all closing 1,000+ transactions and just talking about how we scale even more and grow the
So
business.
are you going to Dan Beer's operations playbook?
So that's in Nashville. I'm sending 2 of my people there.
Yeah, I'll be there.
So I'm sending my CEO and my director of operations will be there. So you run into Lori and Vanessa over there. They're freaking phenomenal.
Yeah, that's going to be a super cool thing. But you know what? If it wasn't for EXP, I wouldn't even know those people. Wouldn't
really?
Dan Beer? Why would I know them?
I knew them first, and then I joined EXP.
That is so crazy.
I met Cheplack. Yeah, I met Cheplack, and then I got into Cheplack coaching and joined EXP like right after. But I was already running with a group of Cheplack people.
Yeah, which are mostly EXP. There's some few of them in there, but there are a lot of EXP people in there because it's such a different feel. You're around the people that you want to do business with. You want to be more involved with. Just like you said, this Orlando bunch, they're amazing. We can totally do that here, Ozzie.
Oh yeah, I want to build a synergy like they have over there. Like there's no competition. It's complete collaboration, and so I wanted to I believe we will be putting on a relaunch live here in Houston. Bring a bunch of relaunch people over here and put on a good show just to educate as many agents as possible. I don't care if outside agents come, but I want to make sure that all EXP agents are in that room. So let's help our scalability here as far as how we can grow our businesses.
I'm super excited about the future. As soon as I saw it, you did that, I was like, oh my gosh, yes, because you have such a good heart, and I know your passion, and I know we can do these things together now. There's someone here in Houston. It's like, yes. So I'm looking forward to doing things with you in the future for sure.
Absolutely. I'm excited, and sky's the limit. We got a lot of opportunity here. I feel like we're babies here in Houston. Like what they've done in Orlando is big. That's adult stuff. We're figuring it out.
We can do it too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, you guys, if y'all want to hear more from Ozzie, he's got his info right up on the screen. Make sure and reach out to him. He's got an event. You should all stop by his office. It's on Thursday. Isn't it from 1 to 3, Ozzie?
Yeah, 1 to 3. We're going to have just a James Coney Island hot dog truck. It's a 4th of July thing we wanted to go with. It's on July 1st, but it's celebrating Independence Day. So what's more American than some hot dogs?
Nothing at all. Right. Thank you so much for being here today, Ozzie.
No, thank you. I appreciate it. And, I just I enjoy these type of things. And as much as I can help people grow, like anything I can help y'all with, you let me know. I'm here.
Love it. You guys have a great day.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Bye, y'all.
Talk to you later.